Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 3, Machine Learning and AI, Chatbots and Generative Images. So I've been super excited about AI because it's kind of changed everything. It allows us to do things ourselves maybe that you couldn't do before. I know that's true for me. I can do a lot more things, and so I'm excited in these next 3 modules to share a lot with you, actually 4. So this week we're going to just do an introduction to AI, and we're going to learn a little bit about ChatGPT. Next week we're going to learn about some other ones that are really fun. Then we're going to work with images, and then finally with avatars. So I hope you enjoy this section of the term. I know I will, and something that I pretty much do all day now. So let's look at the module. Again, I always start with the discussion, which you should do at the end of learning all of these other things. So let's go ahead and open the discussion, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the discussion, there's some links on the top, is about ChatGPT. So basically, just after you learn about it, I'm hoping you'll sign in. I use my Gmail to sign in, and it's free, but you do have to have an account with an email. You can use your school email. I usually use my Gmail, or if I have a paid account, I use a company email. So whatever you prefer. And then I want to know, how do you feel about using it? What are some ethical considerations that we need to take into account? What ways can we generate chat clients to benefit society? That's one of my favorite topics on how to use AI to be helpful in my thinking. Things like climate change and medical vaccines. There's probably a lot of diseases that I think are going to be solved faster with the help of AI. And what are some limitations or potential drawbacks? So that's the discussion. I have some example prompts that you can try in AI, but probably you'll have many of your own. So after you learn the lessons, come back and post. If you do generate images from this, and we'll look at that a little bit today, you can feel free to post those in the discussion as well. So let's go through the module. This image I made in ChatGPT, it uses what's called DALL-E. The current version is DALL-E 3. And I'll show you what that looks like, but you can generate images, you can ask questions and get answers, and then I'll show you how to use it if you haven't. I know a lot of people have, and it's okay if you have, and it's okay if you haven't. So ChatGPT is basically the most kind of common used language learning model so far. It's made by OpenAI, and it's basically a box that you can type in and get answers. So I would call it's not really learning about software, it's really an assistant to help you do whatever it is that you want to do. And I love that because I've spent so many years teaching about software and all of the places to click and all the various complicated things that you do. For example, in Adobe Photoshop or an video editor like Premiere. But now we have these chatbots where you can get questions and answers with just a simple box, which is great. I use Chrome for my web browser to do this in. It's just one that it's the most popular, but it also seems to work well. It doesn't mean you have to use Chrome, but whatever browser you use, you can open it. And you're going to need to log into ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. So I'll show you how to do that. And then you're going to be typing a question in the text box and hitting enter. So here's some sample questions about recipes, weather, how to use Zoom. It could be anything that you dream up or anything you're interested in. Hopefully that's something you're interested in. It makes it a lot more fun. You can add attachments. So maybe I actually added some recipes and had it make a better version of that for me that were handwritten that I took a picture of with my phone. So we'll do that as well. You can use it now for web browsing. So instead of going to Google and doing everything, you can ask it to make an entire travel itinerary for you, or or things like that. So there's some things about using these that help it give you the better answers. So just being clear and explaining what you're doing. It might, as a teacher, like sometimes I say, hey, I'm a teacher and I want to get an explanation so it knows like who I am, what I'm trying to do. Then I ask the question. So that helps as well. And then never share personal details like passwords or anything on here, because you never want to do that. It's just some very important information to remain safe. And here's the instructions to go to OpenAI and sign up. Here's the link that we have here. You can type a question, attach a file, use it for web surfing. The next part of the module, we have some terms that are important. You might be hearing these terms. What does it stand for? The LLM is one of those new acronyms that is popular, which stands for Large Language Model. So these models are trained, and then they come out with these. You can train your own, in fact, but then they come out and you can use them. So AI, machine learning, so you can read through these. Prompt engineering is a whole new area. There's actually jobs in this now. Now, before artificial intelligence became a popular term, the more popular term was machine learning, which is a subfield of AI. And you can read here, it's the distinction between machine learning and traditional is in thinking about the distinction. You can use the example of trying to teach a baby to eat. In traditional programming, you have to teach the baby to eat a banana. Then you'll have to go through the same process to teach a baby to eat a peach or another food, so it keeps learning. In machine learning, you teach a baby how to eat a banana, and then when it's presented with a peach, it will likely know how to eat it without any further programming required. So a little bit of distinction, but mainly for here, we just are going to be concentrating on artificial intelligence, language learning models, and ChatGPT. If you do go online and take quizzes about AI, these are the terms that they're going to expect you to know, and you'll probably have multiple choice questions about those. So then there's a section here about links to chatbots. These are the popular ones that I use a lot, most people use, and we're going to be learning several of these in the next few weeks. If you want to, you can go explore these links ahead of time, or maybe you're already on them, but we're going to learn how to use many of these and what they are throughout this class. And here's one I did inside an AI called Midjourney, which does images. I made a prompt, and these AIs can actually expand your prompt. So I might do a short one or find one, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you can change the prompt how you want it. So I had a little dog named Snowy. He's a Bichon Frise. So and I was just in Japan. So this is a whole thing in Japan with a Bichon Frise and Mount Fuji and a helicopter. So I actually found a prompt that was similar, but it didn't have a dog in it, and I changed it around. And so it's just stuff AI can do that's fun. And then prompt engineering, that's basically how to write these prompts. And it's a little bit tricky. I mean, it's not tricky, but in terms of teaching it, because there's so many variations of how you can write a prompt, I did give a link to OpenAI's prompt engineering, and this tells you how to enhance your results and some strategies. So if you're having trouble creating prompts, or you just want some examples, this is a good resource on how to do it. And it's basically, include the details, tell about who you are, just distinctly describe things. And so that's that section there. It's a helpful guide. And then we have the discussion that I talked about before. So what tools do you find friendly? How to use these in your daily life? And imagine a question you would use these tools for. Do you have any concerns or hesitations? And then reply and answer some of these questions or one of these questions. I'd love you to all participate. And it's also good to go and see what other people are putting on the chat on their discussion and then respond to them, because that's how we all learn from each other. Okay, so let's look at my ChatGPT. On the left are things that I've done. They're called GPTs. That's a little bit something we'll get into a little bit later. But on the top are the different models. They're always changing, but the one I mostly use is ChatGPT, and current version is for Omni. It's free, and you can use it for most tasks. There's one that uses reasoning, and it goes through and gives you like prompts, and you keep talking to it. There's one that's faster, and it's a smaller model, and etc. But we're going to concentrate on the one that says for Zero or for Omni. Now there's three things here. You can attach a file. You can view tools. So maybe you want to make a picture or search the web, like I mentioned previously. You can reason, or you can write code. And then there's just searching the web. So without even doing that, we can just ask questions like, let's see, I have a family of 4 and would like to tour Japan. Can you suggest a 7-day itinerary? I'll give it, itinerary. I'm not good at typing that word. There we go. Still wrong. And then, actually, if you misspell, it just kind of figures out the spelling, but I don't like to misspell. So, and then maybe I love sci-fi and Disney, and also love gyoza and onsens experiences, which is a spa. So give it some clues what I like to do, and then it'll go through and hopefully give me some kind of idea of my trip. Okay, here we go. So day 1, I'm going to Odaiba, visit this very, very famous Team Labs, which is an interactive experience. This I don't know, Gundam statue. In the evening gives me an idea for eating. Day 2, go to Disney. Day 3, Akihabara is actually the sci-fi headquarters of the world that I love. And oh, this is interesting. It came up with Radio Kaikon. So that's where I go at the 10-story building to go get Star Wars collections. It's pretty awesome that it came up with that. Visit Asakusa, which is a very famous shrine in Tokyo, in the Sky Tree. Then take a train out to Hakone, which is the place where the onsens, most of the onsens are. Awesome. And then take the Shinkansen, the bullet train to Kyoto. Go to Arashiyama, which is the bamboo forest. So I can tell you from doing this several times, this is pretty much what I do. And then go to Fushinara and Nara, where the deers are there and they bow to you. And then go to Osaka. Osaka is where they have Universal Studios in Japan. And then some optional tips. Get the JR Pass to save money on the Shinkansen. So pretty amazing. It came out with that you saw in just a few seconds. What's nice about this now is it's got this beautiful formatting. It used to not look this good, and now it looks great. You can actually just, if you want to, highlight things and put it into something like Microsoft Word or save it somewhere so that you have it. It also, at the bottom, also has like a copy, so you can copy and paste. You can try a different model, or you can have it read it to you. So if you want it just to have the audio, it'll read it back to you, which is a great feature. There's another one. Maybe I want to do a picture, so I can maybe do this. So let's do a picture. So make an image of maybe a shopping experience in Tokyo Disney. Let's see what it comes up with. It may have an issue because I put Disney, which is copyrighted, but seems like it's doing it. Oh, see, it did have an issue. So maybe because I had a copyrighted thing. So that's a good learning experience. So let's make an image of Mount Fuji and the Shinkansen. Different models will have different kind of frameworks for copyright material. So sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't. I do like the guardrails. So there you go. So that actually looks pretty cool. Although the Shinkansen kind of passes by it, and this is kind of going, it looks like north-south, but that's a pretty cool image. You can download these images and it'll go into your downloads folder on your computer for you to use. The images, they're not copyrightable, but you can make a collection. So let's say you made a travel collection and you made a little book. You can sell that book even if you didn't own the individual images, but I wouldn't own this individual image. So that's the little, and the copyright, you have to kind of keep tabs on it, but that's the current situation, that you don't own images, but you can make collections and use them. So it's pretty amazing. You can even make this as an animation, maybe animated image. So you can make things photorealistic, animated. Let's see. Oh, it got confused what I said. So maybe make a cartoon image of Mount Fuji. It thinks I wanted to animate it, which I didn't. I just wanted an animation. So let's see. Now it'll do it. So one of the things I've learned, and you'll see it later in my modules, is there's different styles. Like you can make something in the style of an artist or something. So now you see an animated version. That's what I was going for. That's perfect. So you can even do, make this, I think this might work, in the style of Van Gogh. Let's see if that works. It works in Midjourney, which is another one I use that I pay for, but let's see if it works here. DALL-E keeps learning, and they learn from each other, so it seems like they all keep getting super advanced pretty quickly. Ah, that is awesome. It worked. So you can go look, if there are artists that you really like, then you can see if it will emulate an image in that style. So it seems to be learning pretty fast. Of course, Van Gogh is, a common one, but in Midjourney, you can use almost any artist in it as what's called a style reference, and it'll go do that image. That's super impressive. Okay, so I'm going to attach an image, upload from my desktop, this image about yoga. I can ask a question now, something I'm interested in. So tell me about the positions in yoga and how that helps me as I get older. It's funny looking at those. I can't do most of those. Okay, this is great. I always wonder, like, when we're doing yoga class at my gym, like what it's doing. The teacher definitely knows, but I did notice for me it definitely helps with a lot of aches and pains that now I seem to be in better alignment. So this makes sense. It improves posture and alignment, which I need. Help the spine. So definitely, actually, this is really encouraging. It's making me want to go, continue to go. Back bends, that's one that I don't do, but so it took that image and then my question, and then it can answer information from there. Another thing you can do, if you have ChatGPT on your phone, you can take a picture. I did this in Japan. I took a picture of my remote control that was in Japanese, and I didn't know how to use it. And then I just asked it to translate everything for me. So it gave me the translations. So let's do an image of a remote control and see if we can do that. Okay, I found my actual image from my phone, so I'm going to upload it in here. that I took in Japan of this remote control that I couldn't see. So can you translate to English so I can use this remote? Let's go down to where it's doing that. So there's my remote. It's mostly Japanese symbols. And now it gives me the translation so I can match up the symbols to what I want to do. So I get the volume. I can now change channels. So, and it actually does a lot of things. So I was super confused when I looked at it. So I can match up these symbols to change the channel and the volume. And I started with a TV with this. And so that wasn't, I couldn't even really guess what to do. So, again, I used my phone, took a picture with ChatGPT on my phone, and then it just gave me the answers. And it does save all that onto your computer when you're done, so in case you want it there. So amazing stuff. Again, you can search the web, you use the tools or attach files or make images, or even do coding. But lastly, I want to look at this more later in the term. There's something called GPTs. And on the left, I'm just going to click Explore GPTs. We're not going to go into how to make them right now, but just so you know that they're here. People like myself and all across the board have been making little GPTs to do things. So it's basically they've trained ChatGPT to do something specific. Here's some of mine. I've trained it to find 360-degree images, talk about microphones, creating an avatar. But you can see on the top, there's various categories. So let's just look at lifestyle. So you can pick one of these things and do them. So here's a little travel guide. If I go on there, so it's basically going to look like ChatGPT because that's what it is. But now it's gotten some information about travel, and you can click one of the prompts or just start chatting with it. So let me just click one of the prompts and see what it does. So there, maybe discover hidden gems, and then it'll go through and have a conversation about this. So, and then, or you can just ask like, hey, I've never been to a certain place, like tell me about it. So it's going to go through hidden gems. Let me just stop that for a minute and go, whoops, keep doing that. I'd like to visit Christmas markets. Tell me about the top ones in Germany. So things like that. And then it'll be trained to kind of respond about travel in a better way. So there it came up with the biggest one, which is in Nuremberg. I actually have never been to these, but I have a lot of friends this year that went, Rothenburg and so forth. And then maybe after all that, let's see, can you provide a few YouTube links? Now, I don't know if it can, but let's see what happens. So usually I'll go on YouTube and watch some of these travel things to get an idea of what I want to do. Oh, and it is doing that. Okay, fantastic. Give me YouTube links to these places. That's fantastic. So those are GPTs. You can always explore GPTs. Again, later we'll talk about creating them. I think you need a paid account to do it, but you can always look at the thousands of people have made on here as well. So they're fun. You don't have to do that. It's just another way to interact with ChatGPT. So just going back to ChatGPT, it gives you like some starting ideas, or you can just type or use one of the tools there. And I find it to be a very helpful daily assistant. I tend to use it to draft conversations, emails, social media, and other things for people. I definitely use it for asking questions a lot, and I'm a continuous learner, as we all are, so I'm learning a lot, which is a huge advantage for us, and I really like it for that. It may not give you the right answer, so if you're not sure, double check your sources, but it's been pretty good for me. So enjoy this module, and we'll chat soon.